In this video, I'm going to go over how to create 500 fasteners for an MSC Nastran model. So here's the model we're working with today. We have two cylinders. We have an innermost cylinder and then an outermost cylinder. And then we have a series of fasteners like you see here. Each fastener is represented with the following. We have in this other window our 2D elements, and then between these elements we have one CBUSH element, and then we have a series of RB3 elements connecting everything together. This was done 500 times, like you see on this window. You can do this manually, but you can probably expect that it's going to take a long time doing this one by one. In this video, I'm going to show you a much faster way to do this. So in this window, I have sort of an agenda or a procedure on how to create these 500 fasteners. So let's go ahead and get started. So in this other window, I have the same two cylinders, but there are 0 fasteners. So the first step that I've done is I've already determined the location for each fastener. I have X, Y, and Z coordinates for each fastener. Next, what I need to do is create what's called a FEA entry. So here, I've already gone ahead and created a FEA entry. I've already supplied the necessary information regarding the stiffness. Next, I'm going to create what's called a CFAST entry. So let's go ahead and create one CFAST entry. So I'll select the FEA entry. I'll say use the prop type or option. Here for IDA, I'm going to select one of the cylinders, and then for IDB, I'm going to select another cylinder. So here what we're saying is create a fastener between both of these cylinders. Next, I'm going to supply the location of that fastener. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So here I'm looking at my notes, and I'm going to go ahead and type in the location of this first fastener. And then if we rotate the model, we'll get a preview of the fastener. So first, let me go ahead and turn that on. So I've turned on the FEA checkbox here, and then here we rotate the model. We see this is the first location of that fastener. But notice that we don't have the CBUSH and the RB3. So I'll get to that in a moment. Next, we have to repeat the process 500 times. So we have to create additional CFAST entries here. Now, on the top left hand corner, you can click on download CSV. So everything in this table has been downloaded to a CSV file that you can open in a spreadsheet program. So in this other window is that CSV file. Notice we only have one CFAST entry here. I'm going to copy those locations over to the CSV file. So now I have approximately 500 locations here. I'm going to update the element ID column. So let's go ahead and scroll down and make sure each row has a element ID. And I'm going to save this file. Alternatively, you can also populate the PID for the PFAST entry, the prop, the IDA, and IDB rows. So here, I'm going to leave that blank for now, but you can type in the values here if you wanted to. I'm going to import that CSV file back in the web app, and you'll notice that now I have approximately 500 fasteners. You'll notice that in this other window, I have the equivalent bulk data entries also. So now what I need to do is I need to populate the PID, type, and IDA columns. So we can do that with this row. So first click on batch all, populate this row, this input, and this next input. And then click on these apply buttons. And then that value is carried over to each row in the table. So if you look at the very last row, the very last CFAST, we have PFAST 1, Prop 3, and 4. Okay, now we close this. Now we have markers representing each CFAST entry. Now let's confirm we do get the equivalent CBUSH and RB3 entries. So to do this, you want to configure this entry, SWLDPRM, use the PRTSW option, and use 200 for the value. Next, so let's go ahead and click on Run with MSC Nastran, and then we'll go ahead and wait a moment for this to finish. So what happens after the run is complete, you get an equivalent punch file. So let's go ahead and download that punch file, and let me show you what's inside of that punch file. Inside of that punch file are the equivalent PBUSH, RBE3, grid, and CBUSH entries. So each CFAST is creating an equivalent set of PBUSH, RBE3, CBUSH, and grid entries. What the web app then does, it extracts that information and it adds these two new rows, RBE3 PCH and PFAST PCH. So RBE3 contains those RBE3s and PFAST contains those equivalent CBUSH entries. So if we zoom in, let me hide the CBUSH entries, and let me hide the RBE3s, and let me turn off the diameter. So there you have it. We've created 500 fasteners relatively quickly. Now, we look at the model, we confirm everything looks okay. Now we can go and use this other option, check run. Right now it was set to 1, which meant just determine the fasteners and exit. Right now we set it to 0, or you can just remove the check run, and it means it's the same thing. It means create the fasteners and perform the statics analysis. So that's what we're doing now. So again, you can leave it out or you can include it with this option. So before we were using the option 1, just determine the fasteners and stop, or use this option, determine the fasteners and then perform the full statics analysis. So we'll go ahead and wait a moment for this to finish running MSC Nastran and to display the displacements. Okay, so here are the deformations. Let me go ahead and increase the scale factor. Let me actually hide the fasteners for a moment. So the outermost cylinder was fixed in place, and then the innermost cylinder was pulled on. So this is what the deformation looks like. Here, let me turn off the deformation. And let me turn on the deformation again. So you can see here that the deformation is suggesting that these two cylinders are in fact fastened together, if you will. Now let's look at the stresses in the cylinder. Let's go ahead and display the von Mises stress for both the top and bottom fibers. And let's locate the highest region, and then here, let me just turn on the fasteners. So you can see some of our high stress are around the fasteners like you see here. Okay, now one other thing, the forces in the fasteners. So how do we display that? Here, we'll go ahead and select element force fast, and we'll select the first load case. And then since we're pulling on the innermost cylinder, we expect there to be a high shear force on the cylinder. So here what we can do is this. Let's turn on the arrows, and let's display the shear forces in the fastener, so Fy and Fz, and then the axial force, Fx. And let's maybe turn off this. Okay, so let's go ahead and rotate the model and zoom in. So what we're seeing now, let me turn off the RBE3s. What we're seeing now are the forces in the CBUSH element. Right now we're looking at a color plot, if you will, but then we have a need to output this data. So let me zoom in. So you can see we have each CBUSH is going to give us forces. Here I'm only interested in the shear force in the Y axes of the element coordinate system because that happens to be the highest one. And then if we want to, we could turn on the labels and identify that element 51, fastener 51 has the highest shear force. Now, how do we output this data to Excel? So we can go to this table, result files on remote system. We can click on view results HDF5 Explorer. So this is going to open a different window. It's in this window where we can extract the element forces for the fasteners. So here we are going to select the element force FAST dataset, and then we're going to type in uppercase all, and then click acquire dataset. So all 500 fasteners, all the element forces for the 500 fasteners are in this table. We click on download CSV. And then here in a moment, let's go ahead and see if I get it. I get this new file, acquired dataset.csv. So all the data in this table is in that CSV file. And so I get an element ID column, forces for the X, Y, and Z, and then moments for the X, Y, and Z. I also get a subcase number. So if we have 100 subcases, there would be data for the 100 subcases here. I can then feed this into another process to determine any additional quantities. Okay, so in this video, we went over how to do this for the CFAST entry. So this generated an equivalent set of PBUSH, CBUSH, RBA3, and grid entries. If you want to use a beam element to represent the fastener, you can use a CWELD entry. So here you would define a PWELD entry. And the process is very similar to CFAST and PFAST. You define your locations, what properties you want to attach, and then this will output an equivalent set of PBAR, CBAR, beam elements, and RBE3 and grid entries. And then everything you saw in earlier in the video, it would be the same process for the beam option, which is a CWELD. Okay, now let's go ahead and see if there's anything else to cover. So all of this was done in a web browser. If you want to use this web app to follow this process, and before I get to there, let me show you one last thing. Let me click on download PDF. So that entire model is now in this bulk data file. So what you can do is this. Let's go ahead and look for that PFAST entry. So here, let me just bear with me while my desktop catches up. So what you can do is this. You can copy all of these CFAST entries. So that's what I'm doing now. So I'm just going and scrolling. Let me copy this to another window. And then let me copy the PFAST entry. So let me copy this over to the right side. So let's go ahead and save this file. Let me create a new file here on my desktop. So the good thing about using the CFAST entry is that it's kind of portable. And you might be asking yourself, what do you mean portable? You could take only the PFAST and the CFAST entries. You can take those to a different program. So here are all the CFAST on the right. Let me close this. You can take this file to a different program. You could take it to Patron, MSC Apex, FEMAP, Hypermesh, ANSA. You can import the same data. You can import this data into those other programs. And that will be another way of defining your fasteners. What you would do essentially is you define your fasteners here. Once you confirm that you have what you want, you can save that data in this bulk data file, and then you can import it to a different program and then continue your work there. So that's one last thing I wanted to mention. Everything you have here can be exported and carried over to a different program. Okay, now I think now we're at the end of the video. So like I was saying earlier, this was all done in a web browser. And if you want to follow today's tutorial, you can visit this website, engineeringlab.com, and at the top right hand corner we have a button, a free trial button. Click that button, fill out the form, and we'll go ahead and give you access to the web app so you can go ahead and practice what you saw today. Another thing, the web application, there is an installer available. So if you want to download the installer for the web app and install it on your laptop, on your desktop, if you want to install it within your own school or company, that's possible. We do have an installer also available, and again, all of this is available at theengineeringlab.com. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Let me leave you off with my contact information. So just in case you have a question, you can contact me at the same address, and I will try and get back to you as soon as possible. So that's pretty much the end of the video, and as always, thank you for watching.